So you should have finished the last human standing at this point. Now we're ready to figure out, where do humans go after we become anatomically modern in the context of coastal Africa? The evidence we have has been scant simply because there isn't much archaeological evidence and for particular reasons. However, we do have genetic evidence. We're going to be looking at a film called The Journey of Man, A Genetic Odyssey. And in this film, we're going to be looking at the work of a man by the name of Spencer Wells, who did his research at Stanford University on the idea of being able to track human migration through genetics. This is how he's going to explore it. Utilizing the male Y chromosome and changes that have occurred over generations, we can track groups of humans as they've moved out of Africa and populated various regions of the world. His big question is where do we go first? The answer, which you'll see in the film, which I do want to give away right now, is Australia. And his idea is that seemed relatively impossible for him because of the distances involved. And humans had not left any archaeological evidence along the way. So he began to explore this idea with tracking the male chromosome in India. Now, in the film, there's something that I want you to look at very specifically, which is very, very important, perhaps to your answering your final exam question. Spencer is actually going to go into the context of South Africa and visit the oldest human lineage. By genetic standards, we're looking at the very base lineage where we all come from. These are the oldest humans in the world that stay in context in the area of South Africa. They are a group of people known as the San. Now, we have to forgive Spencer. He refers to them as the Bush people. They do not like to be called Bushmen. But Spencer's a geneticist, and he's not an anthropologist. And he doesn't realize that a human being has the right to be called what they want to in their groups. Not to call somebody by what they wish to is a degradation. It's demeaning and dehumanizing. The San people, they're also like to be called Zhuangzi. The Zhuangzi is an acceptable sort of term for them. So please replace those when you watch it. Now, what's important about watching the San people is that Spencer does point out something very important. That when you look at the faces of the people of the San, you see a composite image of every single human being on the planet. All the facial shapes are like if I go to China, look, there's one of the facial shapes over here in the San. If I go to India, there's the facial shapes in the San. If I look at Native American populations, there it is. If I look at a Western European population, Eastern European population, right? If I look at African populations there, I'm like, every population in the world is there. Well, Spencer Wells hints at what the deal is and where we can utilize our idea and knowledge about the founder effects. That early on, this was one tribe with all this normal variation. We all should have that variation. We're all blended together at this point. And that small portions of their society leave, right? With only a limited set of the genetics. Say someone looked like me, this Anglo guy. And I'm in that tribe. They all have, there's people that look like from Asia, everywhere, all together. But I leave. So, in other words, I found a population in Western Europe, and all my descendants look like me. Now, what if another member of my tribe, who maybe looked like they were Mongolian, whatever Mongolian, but their normal variation, migrates to Mongolia? Everyone looks like them. You see, that's the thing. That by looking at the San people, we really realize that we all are one people, one tribe. And the founder effect has occurred, and that we've left through natural selection some small things that have happened to us. Skin tone to adapt to light conditions. Eye changes to adapt to light conditions. Other than that, there are almost no genetic differences between any persons on this planet. And this type of knowledge really helps us overcome The social problems that we're having right now, this idea of race, which doesn't exist, this idea of racism, which is so destructive and demeaning. It's not only demeaning for the people who are victims of racism, it's demeaning for people who deploy it as an argument that someone's lesser than them. It's just so moronic. And the privilege of being able to see this, understanding this information, provides us with some hope. I want you to think about that, when you're, planning a new future, how we can utilize the story of our own body. What sort of information would be important for children to learn, right? I bring us back together as the San, a single tribe, so that we can function together, right, as a society, a mutually empathizing group of humans. So I hope you can derive some ideas from this film. Enjoy it.